me. It's like, wait, what? How do you project that on me? Hey, Danielle. Good morning, boo. Sometimes, of course, I know we need to let it go. And I know sometimes we don't ever have to prove who we are, because at the end of the day, spirit is never going to be like, you need to prove who you are. It's really like, fuck what people think about you. But when when you are living this life, it's kind of hard not to get into that defense mode. It's kind of hard not to kind of stand up and have to defend yourself, because otherwise then you just have a bunch of bullshit swirling around you, right? And it's unfortunate that people will run with it. They will just run with the information, and they will run with the bullshit. It's kind of like, damn, you know. I think at the end of the day, you guys, if you just really, really want to sort some shit out, have a conversation. And if you feel like the person is really someone that you can't have a conversation with, let it go. Let it go and be done with it. Because I do feel like there's always multiple sides of every situation and every story. And if we don't take the time to kind of figure out what's going on and hear somebody's point of view or hear someone's side, then we're doing a disservice to the situation, regardless. You know, I can't say that I hate the news. I can't say that I love the news. I think the news does what it does, but I also know that the news is owned, and it's themed, it's driven by an agenda. There is an agenda behind the news. Otherwise, we would hear a lot more stories of beautiful people doing great things in life, right? True, because everyone's perception, Danielle, is different. My perception of what happened is my perception, right? And then their perception is their perception. And then there's what happened. There is. And it is true, because we're not always right. Just because we feel like we're right in a situation doesn't mean we're always right. So sometimes you got to kind of look at that too. Like, damn, I felt this certain way. I felt this was going on, but that may not be the full truth. Somebody, a third party looking in, could be like, nah, both y'all asses is wrong. You know what I mean? But we will run with it thinking I was right, you were wrong. But one of the things I feel at this point in time is not that I'm right in a situation. I just won't let somebody come for me no more. You know what I mean? Like on this spiritual path, we're kind of pushed, like we got to reform into these holy people. And I'm like, fuck that. Like if I know to the core of me that I didn't do something wrong to you out of being malice or out of being conniving, or my heart space was true in the moment, I'm not backing down from that shit. Because I know what I did. Regardless to the situation, I know that it doesn't come from that place. So there are some times where I refuse to back down. I refuse to let someone come at me a certain way. I refuse to just sit back and let somebody demean me, because I don't feel like, one, I'm not Jesus. Okay. I'm not. I don't think I'll make it to a Sunday master this lifetime. I'm not Jesus, where you're gonna put me on a cross and hang my ass up, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, I love you guys, and let's give you compassion, and I hope you guys find. No, fuck that. You not staking my ass up. The fuck? Hell no. I'm sorry. I'm not that elevated in this life. I feel like I know that we shouldn't entertain shit, right? I know this to the core of me. I know we shouldn't. But there's times where I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking say something back. Good morning, and I don't want to promote like because it being petty, or you know what I mean, or arguing or keeping an argument going. But I do feel like you should stand up for yourself when you need to. And if you feel like you need to stand up for yourself, then do so. Just make sure that you're doing it in a way where you're not being arrogant as fuck, one, and you're not letting your ego take over the conversation. Because what happens most of the time, our ego takes over, and then it goes into a bigger situation than what needs to be. But it's like I said, as much work as I've done on myself, I am not that elevated to where you're just gonna come at me that way, and I'm just gonna be like, you know, to each his own. To each his own, and I hope you find peace in your life. Wait, what? Get the fuck out of here. Like, no. And that is ego. I know what it is. I do feel like it's a time that you got to speak up. And like I said, if you missed the first part of the show today, I said this morning I woke up, my intentions for the topic today was to talk about the news, how the news is good and bad, and how they run with stories without no information. And I woke up to a message in my messenger from a person that I haven't seen in 10 years. And when I knew this person barely knew me. I knew this person for a blip out of my life. And this person did some shady shit and then decided to get in my inbox 10 years later and then like blame me for the whole situation. And it was just like crazy that this person had never reached out to me before. Even when the shit was going down, this person had not answered their phone when I was trying to reach them. The place that I was living also could not reach this person on the phone. But apparently, after 10 years, I come up on your feed and you feel like you should jump in my inbox and talk shit to me. So of course I talk shit back because I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, wait, what? So it's just funny how spirit coincides with what I'm thinking. So that's what sparked me, because I had to sit there and think about it for a minute. Like, do I respond? Do I take the high road? Right? The high road is I don't respond, I just block and I keep it pushing. But that little voice inside me, good morning, Debbie, good morning, Lucinda. That little voice inside me was like, wait, what? Wait, hold up, what? And so the little voice inside me decided to say something else. Now, again, I'm not reformed in that way where I can just close my mouth and not say something, especially when someone jumps in to attack you and call you names. Like, that's the first thing you see when you open your box is somebody like talking shit and calling you names, calling me out my name. I ain't heard from you in forever. Wait, what? You know, what's a Facebook G? What's that? I'm never somebody who gets on my social media platforms, and I don't use social media to act like I'm harder than what I am in life. I don't do the Facebook wars. Oh, Facebook gangster. I don't do the Facebook, wars and shit. And I've had you guys don't even know all the shit I've been through in this last couple years in this path alone. Um, in this path alone, I've been through some crazy shit with other spiritual people, and I've never used my platform to demean them, to talk shit. I've never blasted their conversations out. I've never screenshot and, said some crazy shit. I've never used my platform to do so because I don't believe in that. But what you won't do is get in my box and talk shit to me. That's what you won't do. That's not a thing. Not a thing. I'm never going to just be okay with that and just be like, okay, and turn the cheek. It's crazy. It is crazy. Me too, Debbie. I need a new one. I don't like when people use social media as that, where it's like, let me be hard on social media. And it's like, you one, don't know anybody from nowhere. You don't know what type of lifestyle they live. You don't know to the extent of where they'll go or what they'll do. You know, yeah. And like I said, I had a choice in that moment. I had a choice in that moment to just decline, block, and delete. But my gut my gut was like, no, say something. Because like I said, I feel like in sometimes, like we always say, we don't want someone to steal our energy and this, that, and the third. But sometimes I feel like you need to speak up, especially to someone who don't know you from nowhere, especially to someone who, is trying to blame you for some crazy shit or get in your inbox and down talk you. I'm a very respectful person. I'm not going to disrespect you unless you disrespect me. That's, yeah, it's a fire sign for sure. I'm not going to disrespect you if you don't disrespect me. But I'm definitely not the type of person, and I don't put myself on any pedestal or high horse, but I'm not that person. I'm not that person where you're going to get in my inbox and fucking talk shit to me. that's not a thing with me, y'all. Just it nah, no. Yeah. I have seen Lucinda, I have seen other people, they have used their platforms to talk shit about me, talk shit about my group, try to talk shit that I'm this, I'm that. Because people get jealous, people get whatever the fuck, their panties in a bunch. And like I said, people make their perception about you in a situation even though they were wrong, right? One of the things about me is I always try to stay in the middle of a situation. I am one, and anyone who really knows me knows that I try to stay in the middle and see both sides, even when it's me. Even when it's me, I try my best to stay in that middle to see both sides of a situation. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if you're my family. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm not going to sit here and agree with you just because we're friends. I'm not going to agree with you because we're cool. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Just like if I was wrong, I would want someone to call me out on it. And a lot of people get pissed off and mad because you call them out on their bullshit. They expect you to agree with them just because you're family, just because you're friends, just because whatever. And it's like, no, I'm not going to agree with you if you're fucking wrong. You know? It's just one of those things. So no, I'm not the type. And a lot of people get mad. They get mad because you disagree with them. I have had a lot of falling outs with people because I didn't agree with them. And I'm not just talking about this spiritual life. I'm talking about before. Part of the reason, like, someone coming in my inbox is like, we fell out because of what you did or what you said. We fell out because of the way you were, but somehow you're still blaming other people. And one of the things is, a lot of parts of my life, I've taken responsibility for those. So I won't accept anyone projecting their bullshit out on me anymore. One of the things, I have sat and looked at my life. I've sat and looked at how far I've come. I've sat and looked at the part I've played in many situations, whether the intent was there or not. I look at all that shit. You know what I mean? So at the point that I'm in my life, I'm not about to sit here and take nobody's bullshit. I'm not going to do it. Right, right. And it's a long way. Let me tell you, my ego was huge a couple years ago. Like, I won't even lie to you, Danielle. Like, man, I've grown so much when it comes to that ego and that pride. Whew. Because before, I didn't give a fuck. I would just shut it down and be like, if you died in front of me, it would be like, that's sad. That's how cold I could get. I could shut that shit off real quick. I'm not that person, and I'm not that cold anymore. I've learned to grow and let people, I've learned to let things go, and I've learned to forgive people without reasons, without excuses, and without apologies. And that's the biggest thing. I've learned to forgive a person without hearing, I'm sorry for what I did. Oh, wow. And I think that's the thing that people don't do. People don't learn how to let shit go, and they don't learn how to look at their own mistakes in a situation. When something goes down, it is always somebody else's fault, you know? And I just refuse to let anybody else come in my life from the past, especially from the past, and you think you know me. And I'm going to tell you guys, doesn't matter what you've done or what somebody has done with you. If you haven't seen somebody in years, you don't know them. You know the person they were. And I'm not even saying it just on my part. It's even myself. When I think about people from the past, and when someone speaks on someone in the